So you've got toxic parents while you've clicked on the right video. What's this? I want to show you something. Come here, come here. Come close, come close. What's this?
A wall?
No shit, Sherlock. What's this?
A light switch?
You keep keeping these lights on. You pay any bills in these house?
You have to
Turn it off. I don't want to hear what you gotta say. Turn it off right now. And I tell this idiot, clean up your clothes. I wish I never had these kids. What's this?
The chips you were eating?
You want me? Really? So now you're lying. You're lying, really? You're leaving these chips out for visitors? You think you want roaches and rats in the house? Are you kidding me?
You don't allow me to
talk
have
about. Now I hear one word you say. Now let me call your father and send you back home. Get out of my face. Sure, how I work this? iPhone unavailable. Claudia, come here. You tech long enough. With the remote, because my iPhone not unavailable. Me can't control it from this. What the remote at?
You have your glasses on, right? Do you need a stronger prescription?
You're like getting real. I asked you where the remote at. Where the hell is the remote? Go bring me the damn remote. Smartass. Well, now that we've gotten the guilt tripping out of the way, if you want to thrive in this world, you're going to need to become your own parent. If you don't have someone in your life that shows you love, respect, and dignity, you're going to need to do it for yourself. This video is for people living in shitty situations and for people who are holding on to tumultuous relationships with family members that don't serve them anymore. And it's also for the people who are holding on to friendships that don't serve them anymore just for the sake of, I've known her for 10 years. If you want to be a successful adult, you've got to let go of guilt and resentment. You need to understand that from a spiritual perspective, we chose our parents because they would provide us with the perfect lessons for our soul's evolution so that we would grow and thrive. And you need to believe that or you're going to go crazy. Otherwise, wondering why you've been forsaken, why these bad things have happened to you. The most successful people haven't had the prettiest start. So the first step to thriving in the world would be forgiving your parents. It's not for them, it's for you. How are you gonna get anywhere in the world if you're harboring hate and resentment towards people who didn't even know any better? Harboring hate and resentment only creates a disease in the body. That's why it's called dis-ease. See what I did there? No, but seriously, do you want to be sick? Do you want a cancer diagnosis because you're just holding on to so much hate and resentment? It's for you. And I feel like if you haven't had the best start and you had like shitty parents, you know, you couldn't help that. It wasn't your fault. But going into your older age, do you still want to have the old programming that your parents instilled in you controlling your life? And honestly, your parents were just doing the best they could because no one is ever truly prepared for a child. Imagine being your age right now and having a child. That, I mean, you might, but still though, it's a lot to handle. So forgive your parents. They were just literally big babies, big adult, like kids that grew into it like we all. I still don't feel an adult. I'm an adult, but I still don't feel like one. So have a little compassion for your parents, or no compassion at all. You know, I don't know what they did to you. That's fine. Hate them if you want, but just know it's really not helping your situation in the long run. Okay, so if you're someone who lives at home with your parents, you're essentially subject to the rules that they provide over your head. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make a plan. You need to make a plan to exit, because you can only solve so much or achieve so much if you're living with the problem. And how am I gonna get the money, Carmelita? How are they gonna get the money? Well, there are tons of ways to let the funds in. The internet. Use the internet to your advantage. There's tons of ways to make money and tons of ways to let the funds in. So once you've got your escape plan and you've left, now you've got to survive in the world because you're out of your cage. Here's the thing about being on your own really young, because I did it myself. A lot of the times it was really hard, and a lot of the times it was just like, what is life? But one thing I never regret, and one thing you will never regret, is your freedom. You finally have your freedom. So no matter how hard things get, no matter what you gotta do to survive in the world, it like for your freedom, it is priceless. You will never regret having your freedom from having a man or a parent just control you. No matter the hardships that you go through, you will never regret your freedom. And I'm gonna be real here, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to thrive in the world because you don't have the advantage of having great parents. You don't have a little cushion to, save you from your fall. Because you don't have that cushion to save you from your fall, you're going to be a lot more resourceful than anyone else in the world because you've had to deal with things that most people don't have to go through. So when you become smarter, you become more resourceful, and honestly just a stronger person than most people. Some of us decide to incarnate in harder lifestyles to, at least this is my life path number, I don't know what's yours, you should look that up because it will give you a little clarity on your life purpose, while you're here on earth, while you've incarnated. But some of us choose harder life paths to be able to write a book later so that humanity can benefit from it. So if you're someone who hasn't had the best beginnings, or you have toxic parents or no support whatsoever, more than likely to come out on top compared to others. There's a lot of rags to riches stories, but not everyone who has to deal with the rags gets the happy ending. That's up to you. If you really think about it, so many people have the parental support behind them and they end up becoming train wrecks. When you're born into wealth, it can either go one or two ways. You are astounding, you're a star, you're super successful, you make the family proud, or you end up becoming a train wreck because you've had everything handed to you and there's no contrast to compare it to, so life just seems like there's no point. A lot of people, a lot of rich kids end up on drugs, like you would never know this, but it either goes one or two ways. So having amazing parents at the beginning, yes, it's an advantage. Having a supportive family, it's an advantage, but it doesn't mean that you can't be successful in the world. And in fact, some of the most successful people, you would never look at those people and think that they've had to go through a lot because they make it look effortless and easy. So wipe your tears and put down the donut. Life is not that bad, girl. You are not a victim. Being alone is the best thing that's gonna ever happen to you because now you get to go into the world and you get to choose your family. You get to selectively surround yourself with people who support you, people who uplift you, people who appreciate you. Stop seeing yourself as a victim because it is not helping you. If you're someone who hasn't had the best beginnings, you've had crazy parents, chances are you're going to be alone most of the time. The problem nowadays with most people is they don't know how to be alone. If you're someone who can't do nothing alone, you can't be alone. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby. You can't be alone, you can't do nothing alone by yourself. You're probably someone who suffers with low self-esteem, and you need to spend more time alone from distractions, people, and relationships to cultivate that self-esteem. Your fear of being alone will have you ending up in really bad situations. And for me personally, because I didn't want to do some things alone, I ended up in bad situations because I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out with the wrong people, and bad things just happened over and over again. There's a lot of people in prison who aren't criminals, but they ended up there because they were hanging out with the wrong crowd or the wrong people because they're afraid of being alone. So stop doing things to seek other people's approval. Stop living for other people and start living for yourself. So the key to dealing with loneliness is by finding out what lights your soul on fire. So when are you the most relaxed? Is it when you're writing? Is it when you're singing, listening to music, dancing, maybe taking a shower? It doesn't have to be some extravagant thing, but when are you the most relaxed? Ask yourself this now, because when you're relaxed and you're doing things that you like, you lose track of time. You don't even notice how much time has gone, and you're also not focusing on the fact that you're alone. I know it sounds cliche, get a hobby, but I feel like so many of us tend to fixate on negative thought patterns over and over again. So you really don't even stop to see the blessings that are present in front of you. Life could always be worse for all of us. And I'm not saying this to water down your pain. It's just that it really could be worse. And we have so much blessings every day, so many little blessings that we don't even ever give thanks for. So the thing is, when you start mastering the art of loneliness, you elevate to a new level of magnetism. If you've ever noticed people who are antisocial, people who aren't trying to be in every conversation, you know, people who are just like, you know, trying even not to be seen. Those people have a natural element of mystery to them, and because they're elusive, it's very attractive to people. People want to talk to them, people want to get to know them. So anyone or anything who's constantly in your face gets tired and boring. Their actions become predictable. So it's like those people that are always posting on social media every day, or those people who you always see at the function, because they're so predictable and you know their next move. There's no mystery to them. They're not elusive whatsoever. So if you're that girl who is at home 9 times out of 10, and then that one day in the week you're glammed up, you're looking great, you're always gonna benefit from having that new face factor. No one has seen you before, or even if they have seen you before, they haven't seen you in a while and you look different. What you're doing by being elusive, being mysterious, not always being at the function, not being at the party, just being someone who is hard to access and get to, you are creating a perceived shortness of time when you're in their presence. So they feel like they need to act on it a lot more impulsively. So it's like websites. Like when sales are slow on websites, what they'll do is they'll put one left next to the item, or almost gone, or limited quantity, to create that perceived shortness of time, because you're more than likely to act on impulse, thinking like, oh my God, I don't want to miss out on a good deal. I have to get it. There's only one left. And the product might be subpar, but psychologically they fooled you into thinking that it was a great product, and thus you seized that opportunity. So this is what you're doing by being alone, spending time alone, being that person who's not easy to access. You are charging your presence so that it's sacred, so that when you go out in the world, people see you as a gift. It's like, oh shit, Carmelita's in the room. Oh my God, I ain't never seen her in person. Wow, she looks like the better than the videos. Right. He said yes. I love being alone. I do most things alone, by myself, for myself. The hair you see, the nails, the makeup, the videography, everything is done by myself. I am a self-made person. So I like that though. A lot of people can't handle that. However, the problem is when I start spending too much time alone, I start liking it too much, and that can't be good for any human being. So when I lived in the city, I was isolated from my best friends, my closest friends, but I was isolated, but I never felt alone. So there's some people that are in rooms full of people and they feel so lonely. So it's not necessarily a person that's going to be the key to alleviating your loneliness. It's removing the expectations that you set on people that's going to give you happiness. When I did have my close friend spy, I never branched out of my close relationships to create new connections, because you got your bestie and that's all you need, right? No. Human beings are creatures that are not designed to be alone. It's statistically proven that you thrive in social connections. People in relationships live longer, so you're not meant to be alone. But what I will say, by being isolated is, and also at the time I took a social media break, so I wasn't on Instagram for a while, for 4 months or so. Best thing I ever did. We all need to do that a couple times a year for mental health. I recommend it to everyone. But I was off socials, and so I was off the grid, off the gram, grazing.
Off the grid, off the gram, grazing.
And what I realized at the time was there was literally a whole world out there full of people wanting to connect with me, been wanting to talk to me, but I was just always like on the elevator. So those small elevator talks turned into relationships, friendships that gave me a lot more insight in the world. You do need social connections, and you do need relationships in your life. So I'm not telling you to be an antisocial hermit. I don't think anyone should. I mean, you need to be okay with that. You need to be okay with people never coming to save you. You need to be okay with, dying alone. Like, make peace with that. I'll be born alone, you die alone. And I know it's something that's like, I don't want to die alone. But at the same time, it's just like, you're always going to be the best relationship you have in this life, and the one that you should cherish the most. Like, no one is going to do it like you do. So you need to get over your fear of being alone. It's very important. And the thing is, when you start liking being alone and you start becoming reclusive like that, the universe just has a way of getting someone to knock on your door, getting like people like coming into your life that force you to get out of your little bubble. Being on social this day and age is like not existing, because the first thing anyone says to you upon meeting you is, what's your IG? What's your Instagram? It's like a business card nowadays. So that's the thing I realized about social media detoxing and being off the grid. It's like people are more likely to not connect with you if they're not watching your Instagram story, watching your feed, because you're not necessarily on their mind. Whereas if you just gave them your number, they might not use it. That's so sad to say, but that's just kind of what I realized about the whole thing. The thing about social media is it creates a false sense of connection. You feel like you know people so well that you've never met in your life before, and it's not healthy. I mean, social media has its positives for sure, but when you are not on social media and you're not taking in other people's opinions and you're not comparing yourself to other people, you're a lot mentally happier. If the only connection you had in the day was the grocery store clerk telling you, wow, I like your hat, believe it or not, you're gonna be a lot more happy compared to being on social media all the time. If you keep having the same thought processes every day, your life becomes autopilot. And that's never good, because a lot of us, we want change, we want to grow, we want to evolve. But if you keep thinking the same things every day, walking the same routes every day home, you just like, what I've learned is eventually the body picks up to the habit. So at some point, if you don't change your thought processes and your thinking, your body takes over, and your body's like, let's get the celery juice, let's go here, let's get the coffee, let's get a little cream. Like, your body just knows what to do on automatic versus your mind. But your brain, your mind, it's what's running the show. So it's really important to create new social connections. It's really important to network every now and then. I mean, I'm saying this, but I don't even do it. But it's really, really important to do these, because meeting new people introduces new perspectives. Being in a new environment introduces new perspectives. If you walk a different way home than you usually do, you're going to notice something new, and it's going to cause you to think new thoughts. So that's the benefit of networking and meeting new people out and about. The thing about being loneliness, you've been alone for like a long time. Maybe you're just over the loneliness, but you will never regret focusing on your own growth as a human being. You could die alone. Let's be real here. So many men die alone at their old age because they have no one. But that is a reality. But let's say, you were just waiting around. You were just, I'm so lonely. Where's my man? Where's this? Where's that? You're looking to other people to give you happiness and not focusing on yourself. There's a possibility. Honestly, this is what really actually happens a lot of the times. These people, they will grow old and bitter because they have unfulfilled dreams. They never worked on themselves. They gave their lives to a man, to their parents, did what their parents wanted them to do to feel happy. And then they grow old and bitter. And you don't want to be that person. So 9 times out of 10, everyone says like, oh, he'll show up at the right time. The people that are meant for you that will show up. And I truly actually really, really do believe that. But let's say it's a floozy. Let's say it's just something they say to make people feel better about themselves, right? At the end of the day, if you were focusing on your grind, your time, making yourself better, taking those insecurities out your backpack, like those bricks out your backpack, fixing the things that you don't like about yourself or the aspects of your life that could be better, you will never regret that, and you will grow, and you'll be like, well, I got this, well, I did this. You'll have so much accomplishments if you will never regret this, I'm telling you. I will look at spending time alone as preparations for the great people that are about to enter your life. Literally, I don't even bother with networking anymore. Okay, so this is the benefit with networking. Networking can get you into rooms that degrees can't. So there's power in that, but at the same time, honestly, I don't even network because I like to protect my energy, and I'm just that girl, whatever. But With that being said, the universe is gonna line things up for me to meet the right people at the right time, and the universe is gonna line things up for you to meet the right people at the right time. So you don't need to stress yourself out here. You don't want to be an antisocial hermit, but you also don't want to be you don't want to be an extrovert to the point to where you're at every function, you're doing everything. And I mean, I'm sorry if that's naturally your personality, but like learn to tone that down a little bit. You don't want to be too introverted and you don't want to be too extroverted as an individual. I'm an introverted extrovert. So if I'm in, oh God, goddamn truck, trying to make a video. Trying to make a video, what the hell? Okay, so if you've got overbearing parents or people who just control you, chances are you've got people-pleasing tendencies that are not going to serve you in the real world. So everyone loves a people pleaser, but no one actually respects them. What I find is when a child has been mentally or physically abused, they typically tend to make themselves small to soothe their abusers' egos. And so they go out into the world, they go out to college, they go out into the workplace and in relationships, and they make themselves small. They literally just become doormats, and some of them even feel like, oh, maybe if I give into what she says or what he says, then maybe they'll love me, maybe they'll see that I'm the one. Like, can he see that I love him so much, I'm doing so much for him? No, you're just a doormat. You're literally a doormat to this person. The problem is you've been brainwashed somewhere along the line into feeling guilty for existing. So you people who just like say sorry all the time when you didn't do anything wrong, or in the elevator you're like, oh, sorry, excuse me, sorry. You people who have a tendency to just do that out of habit, think about where that stems from. I know for me at least, I've been made to feel small and thus made myself small. Somewhere along the line, you've been brainwashed into not feeling like you were worthy, not feeling like you're good enough. People who feel like they're worthy are not moving things out of their way to accommodate other people's wishes when it's not mutually beneficial. You need to set boundaries for yourself, especially with your parents. You need to start prioritizing your happiness, because look where it's gotten you. It's gotten you watching a people-pleasing video, okay? So start asking yourself, am I people-pleasing here? Am I getting the short end of the stick in this deal? Does this person care if I live or die, or would they do the same for me in this situation? If the chances are no, why do you feel guilty about saying the words no to someone? You shouldn't. And when you do, when you stop being a people pleaser, when you start sticking up for yourself, I get it. Sometimes we're people pleasing like our dads or our moms, people we're financially dependent on, which I understand. My advice to you would be to like play the game, learn the power of reacting versus responding. Oh my God, I'm all over the place, sorry. Learn the power of reacting versus responding. When you react to situations, you don't have power, you're out of control, you're being emotional, and sometimes you make things worse. But if you learn how to respond to situations, you're the one in power. So in a situation where you are people-pleasing people who you're financially dependent on, you've just got to learn to manipulate the manipulator and let them think they're in control, let them think they have the power, so that you can eventually get out of that situation. But when you start saying no, when you start standing up for yourself, you're gonna have a lot of people not liking you, and who cares? Why do you care? They are just mad you wised up and they can't use you no more. They're mad you wised up to the BS, so don't care. Don't care. People who've been made to feel guilty for existing instinctively will jump into people pleaser mode, and that's really, really sad. And honestly, it's not your fault that the world made you feel this way, but it is your fault if you keep watching this video and you keep being a people pleaser. So wise up. You need to work on your confidence, and everyone says that, but it's true. One, no one likes people who are confident. Some people may think I am arrogant, but no, I'm confident. When the whole world has tried to break you down, your parents, people at school, people in the workplace, your relationships, and you finally get that confidence, Don't let anyone take that from you. They'll call you mean-spirited, they'll call you a bitch, but at least you're not a victim, okay? The importance of working on your confidence is not only for feeling good in your body, but typically people who are confident are not susceptible to easy manipulation tactics. So people who have codependency issues, people who are people pleasers, people who can't be alone, these are the people that are most susceptible to manipulation. These are the people who get used up. Use your ass up, okay? So you don't want to be that person, hence why you're watching this video. Confidence is going to repel so many negative things that you don't want in your auric field, in your own personal stratosphere, if you will. So when it comes to going no contact with parents or those 10-year relationships and stuff like that, I understand that it's not just black and white. Some of you just can't block. It's harder for you, especially if your parents were sweet and sour, which in my personal opinion is even worse. Like if your parents were shit, it's like, okay, sorry or not, bye. But if they were sweet and sour, that's so toxic. Like they're sweet one minute and then they're sour, and it's so toxic. So I understand that it might be harder to get rid of that person, but it's really for your betterment, truly. Here's my thing. If you wouldn't let your friends talk to you like shit, if you wouldn't let your teacher, if you wouldn't let the grocery store clerk talk to you like shit or like call you out your name, why are you letting your parent? I'm sorry. And as an adult, if you are an adult watching this, why are you letting your parents disrespect you on the phone bill that you pay for? Think about that for a second. Like, I feel like so many people will just hang on to the most toxic people in their life just for the sake of like, well, you only get one mom. Well, you only get one dad. And it's like they're never gonna change until they're in the grave. Sorry. I'm sorry about this. Like, it takes two people to make a relationship work. And if your parent isn't like doing these things, like, get the picture. Like, I'm waking you up right now, okay? Whew. Y'all got me heated. But no, for real, the relationship you have with yourself is the most important one you will have throughout your life. You know, we're born with guardian angels and spirit guides, a whole team of angels to help foster that relationship with yourself. And you're just letting people who are like related to you by blood treat you like crap. Ask yourself this. When it came time to end a 10-year relationship where I knew it wasn't good. I mean, I was just kind of a non-confrontational person, you know, the nice girl. You know, I'm kind of like, I don't want to, I don't want to fight. I don't want to be in drama. I don't want to do this. I don't want to blah, 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 blah. And I knew this person was like just bad mouthing me, the nastiest things. I knew this. And it was hard at first, but I was on mushrooms with like my best friend, and he was like, well, why don't you just block? And I was like, what do you mean? And then I was like, wait, why don't I just block? If you have people in your life that are treating you bad, are talking smack about you, this is what I had to ask myself. What is it about me that is allowing someone who isn't fostering that relationship I have with myself? What is it about me that's allowing them into my sacred life, which I enlighten everyone who surrounds me? Why do they get privilege in that bubble? Why do the toxic people in your life get privilege in that bubble? What is wrong with you? This is what you need to ask yourself. Do you not love yourself? What's going on here? Because why are we letting people disrespect us? And that's why I hit the block button. That thought process, okay? Let's take a deep breath. Let's give ourselves a hug because we deserve it, okay? Right now. Do the damn hug. I know you're not. Anyways, So what I want you to understand is we live in a very transactional world, and that's not a bad thing. People put conditions on their dogs and their animals to be cute and all these things. Actually, I feel like dogs are the one thing that we kind of just, well, at least the good people. When women and men get into relationships and when one changes, the love is not unconditional between men and women. It's based on standards, it's based on conditions. And if those conditions are removed, then the love dies. Whereas with an animal, it's your dog. Like for me personally, if I bought a small dog and it turned out to be a large dog, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't get rid of it. I mean, now every now and then you got that like horrible human, and I knew one who like he was like, oh my god, he's getting so big, he's getting so long. Like, I'm sorry, like it's your dog though. It's like a special creature that's made to just give you love, and you're just gonna throw your dog away because they got bigger. I get it if you don't have the space, but still though. But we live in a very transactional world, and it's not a bad thing. Most human relationships are transactional, and the sooner you understand this, the sooner you can thrive. Where are you falling short in your relationships? Where are you putting too much effort in your relationships and not getting things back? Because I'm telling you right now, I was the nice, like I am the nice girl. I'm gonna twist it because I be acting on here. I'm the nice girl who was taken advantage of so many times, like literally almost got arrested because I was hanging out with these hoes. I'm telling you right now. We all see the red flags that we just brush aside, those little shady comments that they be making. Oh, it's just a joke. All these little things. I don't joke about them anymore because I've seen it play out time and time again. You need to be evaluating every relationship in your life. Are they good? Is that person bringing you joy and happiness? Are you both adding value to each other's life? Because those are the best relationships. And honestly, we got to do this earth thing and we got to be incarnated and like, we got to do all this. Let's do it with people we actually like. Stop hanging on, like get rid of the dead weight. A lot of people are leeches and just like leeching. A lot of mothers and fathers are just leeching off their children because they just have newfound wealth. I feel like so many people experience this on so many different levels, whether it's in like, you know, I got the money now that hot girl's looking at me, or you're the family reject, but now you're the most successful and you've got money and now they're coming back. Oh, well, that was my son, that was my daughter. Oh my God, I used to buy her dolls. Like all this, like identify when people are using you. Identify when it's not genuine. This is gonna serve you for the days to come, okay? So don't be afraid to go no contact. If you have tried your best, if you have time and time again, which I know a lot of you have, it's time to snip the cord, okay? And honestly, you're gonna love it. I'm telling you right now. Because think about it, do you really want every year to pass by? December comes around, November comes around, now you're calling up your girlfriend. Oh my God, could you believe what my uncle said? He said that to my aunt, and then my mom told me not to wear this and blah, blah, blah. Do you really want to do that every year? I know I don't. Like, these people only get together once a year for a reason, okay? Because no one likes each other and it's not functioning. So why are you holding on to this? Like, I'm not trying to rack my brain. A lot of you just like have like crazy attachments, but you're not as cold as an Aquarius can be. But do you really want to do Thanksgiving and Christmas again, full of pain, sorrow, and trauma? I get it. We all kind of feel a little bit more emotional during the holidays. When it's the holidays, I start making like Caribbean food. You know what I mean? I didn't even realize that until like last Christmas, I was like, ooh, let me get the roti, let me get all this stuff. And I was like, why do I do this around this time of year? And I'm like, oh, it's because like when I was a child, it was like what the family would do, blah, 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 blah. I accept that. I'm okay with that. I don't hate my family. I don't hate anyone. I've made peace with who I am, where I've come, and anyone not supporting that relationship has gotta go. And that's how you thrive in a world without having the advantage of great parents. I hope I covered everything in this video. I tried to think of everything I could. So like, this is such a sensitive topic that you guys should leave your comments to help other people, other tips. I also feel like if you are young out there, you need to utilize the resources in your city. And if you are from a shitty city, like find a way to move to a bigger one that has more resources that you can utilize. There's always these like housing programs, like there's so many resources that you don't realize is out there to help you until you actually do a deep dive and search. So I hope this was helpful. Please share your stories and your help to other people in the comments because you really could help someone. And I mean, I would have appreciated a video like this when I was 18. So bye, love you guys.